All right, guys, welcome into another episode of the chat room. I'm joined today by Caleb Lynn. Caleb, how you doing?
Doing all right, man. Excited to be back on the City Chatroom.
Let's just dive right into Jason Witten. Caleb, I'll let you give your take first. What is going on?
I mean, look, Dallas this year, it was like it's interesting to me because you come in here according to Ian Rappaport. Cowboys are going to pay Witten roughly $5 million to come back and to play, right? So then it's like you think about the money that's involved. I mean, there's an idea that he's given, and from what I understand, from according to Louis Riddick, the shape, he's in great shape. He's in football shape and one of the best route runners in the tight end position that you and I will ever see. And so I think, with Witten, it's interesting because, you look at the Cowboys and you look at their tight end room and it's a lot of unproven guys, right? I mean, you're getting into
Blake Jarwin.
Yeah, and who was not bad. Let me point that out. Who in the end of the season had a role.
Yeah, he's good.
But then to get Witten, I mean, I think will be big for the young team that they have. They've got a lot of really nice pieces like Cooper and Elliott and Gallup that I think Witten will be really valuable to once again. And I think he also is sitting here like, the one thing I never did in Dallas was win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And one of the 5 teams that I'm betting on in terms of a Super Bowl based on talent and productivity
Cowboys
is Dallas in the next 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, he's instantly their best tight end, right?
Yeah.
Top, I'd say in our lifetime, Tony Gonzalez, Antonio Gates, and Jason Witten.
Sure, right there.
Tight ends.
Yeah, and in either order, I mean, he's just been unbelievably efficient.
I think he's like top 5 all time in catches.
Oh, yeah, right.
But the thing about this is like, let's see, Cowboys are coming back. He's going back to the Cowboys, $3.5 million.
Yeah.
But his contract with ESPN says annual salary of $4 to $4.5 million. So, I mean, he must really, obviously he loves football, right?
Sure.
Loves football. But he must really love the Cowboys to go back and just get hit and like.
Well, and I think the other thing that's interesting is, I mean, there was obviously a lot of criticism in his commentating for Monday Night Football.
Oh, yeah.
And I think and I don't know if it was like the criticism was getting to him. I think that would be interesting. I don't think you're going to know that now, but I think it would be interesting if that was the case and why he pulled back. So I don't know if that was a part of it, because I'm with you. The money was there. The opportunity was there. But I think he wants to be back on that field. And, in the next 10 years, I think Dallas will be in this conversation of top teams with the young talent they have built.
I agree with that.
And I think Witten has said these next couple years are the chances where we can really gain something, right? When Zeke is really ready to hit his prime and Cooper is what he's capable of along with Dak. And I think if you're looking at it from Dallas's perspective and you're looking at it from Witten's perspective, I just think the one thing he's never done in Dallas is win a Super Bowl. And I think there's an opportunity to be a favorite in the NFC to win the Super Bowl.
That's a good point, because I didn't think of it like that. I just thought of it like, okay, he's getting out of the booth. I don't have to listen to him anymore.
Sure.
But, it's a good point.
Yeah.
It's a good point.
And then you look at his career, right? I mean, it's tremendous. I mean, the man's played for,
Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Hall of Famer, no question. He's, a guy that, he's been able to put, 12,448 yards in his career, 68 touchdowns in his career. And it's honestly remarkable. I mean, the man has been able to produce 11 Pro Bowls in his lifetime. And I mean, individually, it is just undoubtedly Hall of Fame worthy.
Yeah.
But to cement it all, I mean, I'm just going to keep going back to it. He's only played in 8 playoff games. And in the 11 years in the league, or more than 11 years in the league, he's had this opportunity to really be something. And so I think the Super Bowl thing is just so crucial for Dallas. And I think, he apparently was coming to them. He's like, I can't do this I want to come back in the league. I want to do something. Dallas is like, I mean, obviously they want him. They're offering him $5 million. So like, I think.
Well, do you remember those rumors last year, this past season?
Yeah.
They're like trying to get him back for the playoff run.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So that was kind of the start of all this. I didn't think he'd actually do it, but he did. And so I kind of want to go back to what you said about Cowboys making a playoff run. Do you think Jason Witten puts him over the top, or are you just saying?
No,
like,
I don't.
Or are you
I
just
think
saying like they're going to be in the
he's a sub. He's only going to help you, right? I mean, now you're looking at their passing. You look at the Dallas Cowboys passing attack, okay, and you have Dak Prescott, who is a intermediate to short game thrower.
Good.
I like Dak.
Yeah.
I'm a huge supporter of Dak. I think Dak's franchise quarterback. I think Dak Prescott can have the ability to take your team to great heights. And when I mean great heights, I mean Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he has that ability. I just think I think all Dallas quarterbacks get a little bit more criticism than they really should.
Yeah, it's true.
But then you look at their wide receivers. You look at Cooper and Gallup. Beasley's a free agent. That'll be interesting to kind of see. Hearns is out for the season. He was a nice piece for Dallas. He's gone.
Yeah.
You're sitting there now with a guy that they needed that clutch player. They needed that guy on 4th and 6 to make the big play.
Yeah.
And
didn't have.
They're gonna and Cooper is a guy that can do that. But then like you're doubling.
I like Cooper.
You're gonna right. But the defense is game planning that he's gonna do that. And while I think Gallup has the ability, I think it's gonna take a couple years to transition into that.
Yeah.
So just bring in a Hall of Famer at 37 years old who never gets fazed by the moment.
Right.
I think it was a remarkable. To me, it was a good move by Dallas. It does not immediately. That move doesn't change how I felt about them though. Like that move doesn't change the way that I feel like they'd be a Super Bowl team without him. I just think the way I look at Witten is 4th and 6. I got to get him the ball. That's the way I look at him. And I think Dallas needs players like that. They need some veterans who can make the plays that down the field to be able to do that. And I think Witten provides that. And, I think this will be good for Dallas.
I was watching Cowherd today, and he wasn't there. Cowherd wasn't there, but Gottlieb was.
Oh, God.
And he came in, and he was like, don't you see what this means?
Yeah.
This means Witten's next in line for the coaching job. And I was like, what? What do you mean? And then I thought about it. I was like, well, if what you're saying, like the Cowboys are contenders, and they lose in the playoffs or don't make the playoffs, how much longer are you gonna hang on to Jason Garrett? Like, what has he done?
No, you're right. I think
is he the worst coach now that Marvin Lewis is gone? Is he the worst coach in the NFL?
No.
I think he's top 5 worst.
Based off the log, based off the log tenure, I think you could see and your case could be made.
Been
but
there since
I can't.
2010.
But then you look at what he's done though. I mean, you sat there and you see a team that went 13-3 in Dak's rookie year with Zeke Elliott and an okay defense, not even a great defense, an okay defense.
Yeah.
And that 13-3 year, they go on a rough patch. That's when every fan in Dallas is like, we got to fire Garrett, get him out of this. We got like that was a big thing for them. But I think Garrett. I don't think Garrett should have the level of trust that he has from Jerry. Let me point that out.
Well,
I
he's
think
just the guy Jerry can control.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is when you bring in somebody that wants power and control over him, he's not having it.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying? He's not willing to delegate that. When you look at Chris Ballard and Frank Reich, there's a relationship and a level of respect that I believe the two of them show to media,
I feel that.
to the players, to fans.
Yeah.
And Garrett and Jones to me, even when they're doing well, right, there's still this level of power that Jerry Jones holds, and he's not willing to get rid of it. And then he sends it, to his son, Stephen Jones, and then, Daddy's telling him, look, I need this, I need that, And so I think it'll be interesting because I really think that this could be an opportunity for Witten to be a head coach. I really believe that could happen. In 10 years, we could be talking about Witten getting hired to be an NFL football coach.
I could see it.
And I think it makes sense
with the Cowboys, though?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, I think if Garrett, Garrett's inconsistent, right? But like, say you go, I mean, what you and I think, a top level team winning. I think they're winning their division. So the way I see it,
the top 5
is
NFC
if you
team.
can't pull off a division lead and get that division in 2 of the next 3 years, bye-bye.
Yeah. Because
you fired the offensive coordinator, Scott Linehan, and then I'm like, that needed to happen like 2 years ago, and you fired him now. And so I'm like, so now you're giving even more of the reins to Garrett.
Yeah.
To let him use his offensive system. And, they've got, and I think the other thing to really keep in mind is, Chris Richard is a hot name in coaching seats around the league. He did not take a coaching job. And I don't think that was a joke. They didn't take a coaching job, and I don't think it was a coincidence they didn't take a coaching job because he could be seeing, a job open up in the next 2 years to be a really good young defensive mind and make something happen. So I think there's a lot of, in looking at the coaching search for Dallas, there's obviously plenty of things you could look into. Garrett, what you think of him, Witten, what you think of him, Richard, what you think of him. But I think Dallas really, they're in the right path. I mean, they're inconsistent as all get out. But I really think that this is a playoff level team. This is a playoff level team. They know it.
Yeah.
They see it. They play like it. They're physical. They dominate you up front. I mean, I think this is a team, Tyron Smith was battling injury. So I think it'll be a really good.
No Travis Frederick.
No Frederick. And that's a big offensive piece. That's a big piece for you. I mean, they've been huge. Their foundation's always been the O-line.
Yeah.
And the continuity was somewhat there, but not really. Martin was not really, wasn't in there every week. Right. He had a couple weeks where he wasn't in there. And, really Collins, Lyle Collins was the only guy really there, and he's great. He's great, but I think what makes offensive lines good, is that continuity, right? And I think when Dallas can get that continuity again, we'll be talking about them as the best O-line in the league, and I think they're in a good position. Playoffs, I see in Dallas. I think it'll be interesting to see what Witten can do. Does he really make? Does he make the impact where if they don't have him, they don't get to a bigger playoff spot? I don't think so. I just think he's a good supplementary piece.
So, for me, NFC next year, Saints, Rams, Bears, top 3. You think that's fair? Or would you put the Cowboys in there?
I think, personally, I really think that the Bears, they're fascinating to me. They're fascinating.
They should have won that game.
Because I agree.
They should have won that Eagles game.
But, that's a loss that's hard to take. Oh. You're at home in Soldier Field.
Yeah.
To a team
it's hard
that
to watch.
was a team. I mean, Philly was a team that people thought could beat the Bears. I mean, but just the way they did it, that's just a heart-wrenching and gut, it really breaks your heart type of loss. So as I kind of assess that, I think Dallas could push that jump and get in. And then I think the other thing to really keep an eye on in the NFC is, while I like Chicago and I think that it's possible they could be the favorite, we can never rule out Aaron Rodgers.
It's true.
A healthy Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say Minnesota.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Minnesota just because how many times have we seen Kirk Cousins get strip sacked? How many times?
Well, I think it's not. But again, the O-line has been an issue for them.
And their defense sucked last year.
You did. And that was a foundation for them, their defense. But their O-line was absolutely miserable. He had no time to throw. He's got a great perimeter. He's with Diggs and Thielen, along with Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
And they're great there.
Rudolph.
Right. You're great. I mean, you can't. Very tough to name me better skill positions, a skill set than them.
Yeah.
I think the offensive line is just, it's a foundation. If you have a good offensive line, majority of the time, you are a solid NFL football team.
The Colts last year.
Yes. And I think it makes it makes such a great difference. I think that division's open to me. I think another team,
the North,
to keep the NFC North is a division to keep an eye on. I think if you look in the wild cards, I think it's absolutely wide open. I mean, personally, I think Minnesota could get to the wild card.
Yeah.
If they can fix the O-line, I think Philly's interesting. They're always interesting every year, but I'm never sold on them. That's my issue. Like, every year, I just can't get into Philly sweepstakes. Like, I'm having this, like, in the playoffs, I'm texting a buddy about the game, and I'm like, I don't think they're winning. Like, I just don't see it. I can't. It's not that I don't think Nick Foles was good, or, there's a level of that team I'm just always uncertain about. And I don't know why. I mean, they won the NFC. They won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. But there's just something about them that makes me like, is that the right pick? And so, like, I don't know. I think they'll be in there. But the other thing about the NFL is you always see teams kind of rise up that last to first.
Yeah.
Bears particularly.
There's always some team comes out of nowhere.
What
like last
does
year,
San Francisco
Bears
make the jump? And if they pick up AB. And with Garoppolo healthy, do they make that jump from last to first? I think there's some interesting things there, but I think right now it's a pretty consistent 4. It's just you can flip them interchangeably. You know what I'm saying? You can flip Bears, Cowboys. You could even flip Rams. I think you could flip Rams in there, or I think you can flip Saints in there. I think really it could be any, like not just Saints you have as number 1, but I would argue any of the teams we've just mentioned. So Cowboys, your Rams and Bears could all be the 1 spot. Yeah. So I think it's going to be very interesting, obviously depending on drafts and offseason moves. How do they look to address? But yeah, I think it'll be an interesting year in the
NFL. You want to do Nick Foles? Talk about
Let's
Nick
do
Foles?
it, man. Let's do it.
Look, I got a team that I like Nick Foles on, but I just don't know if it's possible. The Buccaneers. And I was just saying that because get Jameis out of there. Right? Get Jameis out of there. Bruce Arians is a good coach. We've seen it here. We've seen it in Arizona. And look what he did with Carson Palmer in Arizona. Carson Palmer, he was just like this middle-of-the-road guy. Get you to the playoffs. Not going to win you anything.
Sure.
He's just like a better version of Alex Smith, basically.
Sure.
But I just think if Nick Foles goes there,
sure,
and they get Winston out of there,
sure.
Why not?
No,
I'm not saying they'll make the playoffs.
No, I'm with you. No, I think they're fascinating. That's a fascinating team. It's a team that was very high on my list. I think with Foles, he has an ability. I don't think. Let me point this out. I think Philly, the Eagles roster, isn't getting enough credit for Foles. The roster they have is deep, full of guys who want to win, talent. I just, not saying Nick Foles is not a good quarterback. I'm just saying, can we take a deeper look into what he's been able to have over the past couple of years? And so a team that's fascinating to me, okay, based off salary,
let's hear it,
controversy, etc. I'm gonna go with the Tennessee Titans. And I'm gonna tell you why.
Give it up on Marcus.
Because I think he's there. But I think it's you can only give him like a year more. And then like I think you can only really if you believe that he's there, if Vrabel believes he's there, and they can push themselves back into the playoff hunt. They were 9-7. But let's be honest. He missed a lot of games. He missed half the season. He missed the game against the Colts he could have went to the playoffs in. And you're sitting there, I'm sitting there wondering, is he a difference? If I put a legit pocket passer, is he going to make Corey Davis what we think he has the ability to be? Like, I think it's fascinating. Because I think you go in to another team I'd like to throw in there that I was
let's
that I
throw
was
some
very
teams out.
I was very high on.
Let's throw some teams out there.
Is depending on the market for how they look at the draft. Miami's fascinating to me.
Yeah, I was
because
say,
here's the thing with Miami. Because Miami could sit there and say, I want Haskins. Okay, and make that move up. Or make that move up and get Jones out of Duke. Okay, but then, there's a guy from Alabama that comes in
next year. Yeah.
So, what I think that, so for me, personally, could Nick Foles sign a 1-year deal to go play for Miami, get back on the market, go to a Tampa Bay, say, look, Miami's going to make that move. They're going to go get that young star. Tampa, who's got better. Well, let me point this out. Tampa's failed so much over the past 5 years. It's pissed me off.
You know the last time they made the playoffs?
Pissed me off.
Do you know the last time?
No clue.
2007.
And that's pathetic. That's pathetic. They've got decent offensive weapons.
They have weapons.
A relatively decent. They don't have a great defense. Let me point that out. But they have an okay defense. But Tampa, you've been dead last in your division for the last 5 years. Tampa's not done anything. They haven't gotten to anywhere and with Jameis Winston at the helm. So I'm with you. But I think but then again, kind of going against your point, I think you have to give Winston a year. You made it clear to your fans that you still believe in him. So if I'm Foles, I'm throwing out a 1-year deal to them. And here's another team I find interesting. I find the Cincinnati Bengals interesting.
They need all the help they can get.
Because here's the thing. If I'm the Bengals, Marvin Lewis has done nothing for me over the last 12 years. Nothing. At least I want an offensive mind. I want something. I want creativity. Andy Dalton is just bland.
You don't like Jeff Driscoll?
Oh god, I can't take him. Yeah. And I like to have. I think if you had a veteran in there who knew how to get deep guys the ball, knew how to get Green the ball, knew how to get Boyd the ball, it knows how to throw the ball deep down the field confidently to let Mixon get into the short game, and run. I think they're a fascinating team as well because the way I see the AFC North is wide open. If you put a quarterback in there, I think Cincinnati offensively has a team. Obviously you can look at Baker all you want, but I can't bet on Baltimore as the way the roster's constructed. And to be honest with you, I think Pittsburgh's plummeting. I think we are seeing Pittsburgh plummet in front of our eyes. And so then I think Foles is... If you put him on a team like Cincinnati, Foles could make that jump and get them to a last to first. It happens every year. Let me point this out. It happens every year. So some teams going to come out of the middle of the works, and I really think that's an interesting team. They got a new mindset now. Maybe they look to make that quarterback change.
So how about this? Going back to Tampa Bay. How about this?
Sure.
Steelers don't want to trade AB in the AFC, right? Trade him to Tampa Bay. Bring Foles in there. It's a decent team.
That is more than a decent wide receiving core with Mike Evans.
Now you might have to give up,
Sure.
Might have to let Deshaun walk. Or
from my indications, they are going to. He is frustrated with the tendencies of Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
And so I think that would be...
Well, he's not alone.
No. And I think that there is a possibility of him moving on, Deshaun Jackson. I think they're a fascinating team as well. My favorite team for him would be the Niners, but that's off the point here and off the record. I just think you look at the way... to me, Tampa's very interesting for Foles. I just think you've made this commitment now. Give it a year. Cut him again if he makes another, if he pleads guilty to anything.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think from there, you make your call. But I think Foles should go 1 year, prove himself, get back on the market, hop back in the market, because I think he has an opportunity to do something. I just don't know if the multi-year commitment's there anymore. And I think that's where, because you and I are thinking multi-year commitments, and I just don't know if any of the teams we mentioned, let me point this out, if any of the teams we mentioned would go multi-year agreement with Nick Foles. I don't know that.
Maybe do something like Denver did with Case Keenum last year. Like, give him the 2-year deal, see what happens the first year, and if it doesn't work out, go get another guy.
But then I think Denver blew that. Because this is a team that has had an ability to get, they have talent. They had interesting talent. You had Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Phillip Lindsay, and Case Keenum on their offense. It's a great offense.
Yeah.
It's a good offense. Okay. And Denver has a decent defense. Okay. And for some reason,
good defense.
That team really underachieved. And does Joe Flacco jump over Keenum in your eyes? No, not me. Joe Flacco. I can't stand Joe Flacco. Let me go out a rant real quick.
Okay.
Exactly. Look, Joe Flacco to be, I have put it on record and made it clear. Flacco was the worst. He was the worst starting quarterback in that entire division. And it was a natural disaster. And you have a top defense like that, and you are telling me that Joe Flacco's overpaid son of a gun self, overpaid, just because they won the Super Bowl with him as a young quarterback, but you have Ray Lewis looking to retire the next season, and Ed Reed looking to retire. If I'm the Ravens, I'm like, my defense was so good. Like, Flacco was just decent, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was never great. When was he ever great? When was Flacco ever taking the jump? And if I'm Denver, what is he going to do different than Keenum? I traded draft capital for him. I traded draft capital for that terrible contract, and I'm just like, what's happening in Denver? What's happening? I unbelievable. Get back to your point. Sorry, I needed to rant on that.
I mean, is Flacco better than Keenum? You know what? Probably not.
But it's because it's not definitive.
But it's because he has a ring. That's what it's for. Elway's like, this guy's got a ring. He's done it. He's pretty good in the playoffs. So we can just get in the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe we can do something.
You're telling me, with Denver's roster, they're jumping the Chiefs or the Chargers in their own division.
Now, let me just say, they're not going to make the playoffs.
So why do they do that? If they know they're not making the playoffs, then why would they do that? Draft a quarterback. Make a move to get a quarterback in the draft. You idiot, John Elway. You have not. I mean, to me, it's like you got to do something.
10? Are they drafting top 10? They've got to be. They went 6-10.
They went 6-10. From what I understand, I believe they are going to draft in the top 10, and it banks me to wonder why Elway. He to me, he is the number 10. The number 10.
Okay.
And the latest NFL mock draft from a great analyst in Peter Schrager indicates that they're going to go into the defensive line market because it's such a strong defensive line market. But if you're Denver, the one strength you have is the defensive line. The one strength you have is the defensive line.
Right.
Why am I going to add another defensive lineman when I added Chubb last year and I added Shaq Barrett and I have Von Miller? Denver's situation is so odd. John Elway's so desperate to get to the playoffs, he's willing to flip a third for a mediocre veteran quarterback. Let me point that out. A below average starting quarterback in the NFL. I question it. I don't understand it if I'm a Bronco fan, why I'm trading the draft capital to get Flacco on a terrible, terrible contract. Terrible contract. Ravens won that deal. It wasn't even close. They knew who their future was.
Yeah, they did.
They knew that Lamar Jackson is something that they want to go out and make a move on. And the Ravens were able to get out of a contract. Listen to this. Joe Flacco at 34 years old. $18 million. He's under agreement for 2 more years at $20 and $24 million respectively. Below average quarterback getting paid $24 million. Okay, to me this is unreal. Unreal.
Well, how about this?
Gosh.
What do you think of the Ravens going all in on Lamar? What do you think about that?
It's the right move.
This goes without saying. Lamar's better than Flacco, right? He's better
For
than
them.
Flacco.
For them.
Right.
For them.
But what do you think about it? Because personally, I'm just like, I don't know. But then again, my last sample of this guy was in the playoffs, him getting strip sacked.
Okay. I agree that he was. Yeah, I agree. He didn't play great. Okay. My point with him would be, if I'm Baltimore, okay, I need a playmaker.
Just cut Crabtree.
So I know which question. So your issue here is your best receiver is Willie Snead.
John Brown's still there?
John Brown's still there.
Okay.
So you have those 2 guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Your Mark Andrews, young tight end.
Yeah.
Hayden Hurst, first-round draft pick.
Right.
Written as a bust at this point.
Yep.
You could make an argument to me that Le'Veon Bell could join the other side.
Saw that on
and I think that makes a tremendous amount of sense. Because here's the thing.
As long as he doesn't come here.
He's not throwing the ball 40 yards down the field. Right. Lamar's not throwing it there. He's throwing it 10. He's gonna go intermediate. Okay. And I think if you add a guy who can play like that, he will get used. He'll get used there. And then to me, he makes that jump to a division title more realistic if it's the same Le'Veon Bell that we all believe he was, which is the best running back in the NFL. If we think that that's coming to Baltimore with Jackson, that's a scary. It makes the option game for them that much interesting because you're coming from Gus Edwards, who, don't get me wrong, I mean, very good running back, played good in the time that he was there.
But it's Le'Veon Bell.
But then you're adding more of a threat.
And I know it's been a year, right? I know it's been a year, but as far as I know, all he's been doing is rapping and complaining, right?
No, that's fair.
But if he can get into shape and just get and look somewhat like he did in 17, I would do it. I mean, I'm a Colts fan, so
low risk.
I'm a Colts fan, so
sure.
I don't want him to come here because I like Marlon Mack. But
I do too.
I guess if you're the Ravens, it makes sense. You know, get a solid running back, get him in the same division as Pittsburgh. But for that division, Browns are taking that division. You know, I think the Browns are taking it. I think the Browns are going to win like 10 games next year. They're going to be the Colts of this year.
Based off roster construction at this point.
Yes. Yeah, right now. Sitting here right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I really think it's to be determined in that division. Because let me point this out. I'll go on record with this. There is no other defense in the NFL I want besides the Baltimore Ravens. None.
Okay.
None. So I think that defense...
It's questionable.
That defense, with the way that they've played last year into the playoffs, they have Suggs. Well, they have great pieces, and they've been there top 5, top 3 consistently through in each and every year. Fantastic defense. Fantastic defense.
Yeah.
And I think... So the window of that defense is closing. And... to me, that's why you strike on Bell. And if you strike on Bell, to me, and you draft the receiver. From what I understand, my indication would be they would draft and look to draft the wide receiver early. If that's the case, again, first-round talent, wide out, you sign up Bell. That's interesting. It gives you some hope. It gives you some young talent to look into. I would say the Ravens are, to me, I think if they can pull those moves out, they're the only team that can take away the Browns from winning the division title.
You think they're the front runner for Le'Veon? Or do you think like the Jets?
I would say the Jets.
Okay.
I would say the Jets because I think they have the Ravens have some money, but the Jets have deep pockets, and it's New York.
Yeah.
They want to win.
Yeah.
So
I still don't think Darnold's gonna be good, but
getting a running back helps.
Yeah.
If he's capable of, I think that fit of the Jets to me, I think that's going to happen before the Ravens fit. But I really don't think that I would not be surprised if we see the Ravens land with Bell and they jump into the AFC and take number one, because I really believe there's no other defense in the NFL I'm taking, right? There's none. Bears. I'm serious. I mean, you can take a look at the talent of the Bears, the pass rush of Mack, Hicks, etc. It's loaded. It's deep. But the continuity, for me, the Ravens have had so much continuity over the past 4 or 5 years. And we have talked about on this pod many times when looking at football. Continuity is crucial. Your O-line, how many, and these guys have been around each other. They know the system. Their best players have been around. They know the mentality, and they take pride in having one of the best defenses in the NFL. And I just, there's a passion that they have. And this energy, the defense has this energy that they know, and they're so confident in the fact that they're the best defense in the NFL. I mean, you could make an argument to me at the end of the year that the Bears are. That's fine. I'm not going to deny that. I think that's a pretty fair point, and I'd lean towards that I'm saying up to the end of next year they are. But the way that they played last year, if I'm going off with the way they played last year and how I would look at them again, I really think the Ravens are a team I'm putting above them. I mean, their defense has been phenomenal. You look at some stats that the Baltimore Ravens have, and they've been nothing but stellar. And I think that when you can look into all of that and you see that the offense is kind of struggling, but the idea that this defense was a reason that they were able to get to the playoffs, to me, they take pride in that. And I just, look, they allowed the second least amount of points in the NFL. They were the best in the league in total yards. They were fifth in the passing yards and fourth in rushing yards in league rank in the NFL. That's top 5 in all categories. It's consistent. It's consistent. And I know what I'm getting from them every game. And so that to me, there's a consistent factor for me. I'm not saying, because if you're going off of talent, I'll take the Bears. But the continuity and chemistry of that defense from Baltimore makes me lean towards them.
Okay. I'm going to have to disagree with you. I'm going to say Bears. But...
Well, give me your points then. I mean, give me your points. I mean, what can make the Bears at this point for you better than a Ravens defense? I mean, because I'm with the talent. Obviously, you look at the Pro Bowl selections. They've been there.
Yeah.
And I think you just say individually and talent-wise, they are. But you lose Vic Fangio.
Right.
So we're putting Chuck Pagano as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I just don't. That familiarity and that change, I think, will be a factor. Because if they can play like they did with Fangio, that's a team that could be the best defense in the NFL. But the Pagano thing made me lean towards Baltimore. But I mean, let me hear you think. Do you believe in Chuck as a defensive coordinator?
Well, I don't believe in Chuck. Period. To be quite honest. But
fair.
It's just a gut feeling, because I think Khalil Mack is the best defensive guy in the league.
I agree.
I think he's better than Aaron Donald.
I agree.
But I just think, like, if it comes down to a goal line stand and I got to pick one defense in the whole NFL to make the goal line stand, I'm going to pick the Bears. It's just more of a gut feeling. Not as in-depth as your Ravens answer. But it's just...
Philly?
It's just a gut
Philly
feeling.
Bears? last postseason? Like, that's not like...
Yeah, I
That's
know.
not coming into your head a little bit now?
I know. But that's Saint Nick Foles. You know, he's got God on his side. So, but I just think goal line stand. If I need to stop, we gotta pick the Bears.
Fair.
That's just kind of how I look at
Fair.
it. They got Roquan. They got Leonard Floyd.
So that's okay. That's the guy that makes me like quit. So he went up and down.
Leonard Floyd.
He was good, but I mean, I think he's the guy to me that can take the defense from being obviously the best in the league to where it's debatable. Because I think Smith in a way, but I think Floyd's a really because he's so versatile. You know, he can play a linebacker. He's been able to line up on the D line a little bit.
Sure.
I think that's the guy for me that could take my argument and push it down, you know, and make it not relevant.
Okay.
So, I don't know.
Let's move on from the NFL to baseball. I don't think we've talked about baseball.
No, we haven't.
Since the pod started.
We have not.
We have a good excuse to now. Let's start with Bryce, since that happened yesterday. Bryce Harper, 13 years, $330 million. Biggest contract in sports history, I'm pretty sure. All of it guaranteed. No opt-outs. He's in Philly for life, basically. Stayed in division too. Stayed in the division.
Sure.
I mean, why not?
Sure.
I honestly think it's like a win-win. I really do. I think it's a win-win. I don't like the no opt-outs. But
For who?
For Bryce. So what if things go south? You know, what if things go south? I mean, look what happened to the Royals. Won the World Series. They've been ass ever since.
Fair.
So what if the Phillies go on some kind of run? I'm not saying they win the World Series.
Sure.
They go on some deep playoff run.
They could.
They crater.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you're in there. You're in there for 10 more years. So.
Sure.
But I like the Phillies. I think Aaron Nola is like a top 6 pitcher in the majors. I think he's really good.
Yeah, I do too.
I think
Phenomenal.
I think they're a good team. I don't know if they'll take that division because I think the Braves are going to take it, but they could get a wild card.
That's bold. I think
get a wild card. And Bryce is he the second best player in baseball behind Trout? It's not a stretch.
No, that's not.
It's not a
That's
stretch.
not. I think Philly.
Oh, what are your thoughts on the contract first?
I mean, look, you look at the contract and obviously there's a level of commitment. Philly is shown their rebuilding of their top farm system. They want to take it. They want to run with it, and they want to start winning. They felt it.
They really have not been relevant since 2009.
Sure.
Because they lost to the Yankees in the series.
Sure. That was the.
And I forgot Arrieta.
Sure.
They have Arrieta too.
The Utley Howard,
Rollins.
Ryan Howard, and Jimmy Rollins, Chase Utley.
Yeah.
That group. So I think Philly wanted to strike, and I think Philly wanted to do something because.
Is it a good strike though?
I think for Harper it's a marvelous strike.
Oh yeah, yeah.
If I'm looking at it, I firmly believe I would never sign a player outside of Trout to a deal that is 10 years or longer.
That's fair.
I would never do it.
Didn't the Marlins do that with Stanton?
They did. Look where that went.
He's
a great player. Now let me put that. He's still a great player, but the loyal. I mean, they had to let him go because, like you said, things went south.
Yeah.
So, like, I think for Harper, he's just guaranteed this consistent $26 million base salary.
It's crazy.
So he goes from, a consistent salary in the 20s.
I can't even fathom what $330 million looks like.
Like,
if you laid it out in front of me, I'd be like, "What's that?"
And the thing with him is he wants to stay in one place. So the Dodgers, I thought the news that Morosi was indicating, Rosenthal was indicating, J.P. Morosi and Ken Rosenthal of Fox and Athletic, were indicating that the idea of Harper to the Dodgers on a shorter term deal could make sense, which I agree.
Because he was making like 45
Because the thing, what I would have done that if I was Harper. Because then I could jump back on the market again. And then I could get top dollar again. But I can be on a team like LA who has shown me.
Better than the Phillies.
Who has shown me that they're willing to give anything.
Right.
Manny Machado.
Yeah.
They give a bunch to the Orioles, Manny Machado. And that was a rental, and they knew it, and that's what the story was. That's how it ended.
Yeah.
So I was
almost worked.
Yeah, it did. And I just think that, the Dodgers are about winning. I was shocked he didn't pull that trigger. But I really think that the Phillies did a great job with the Phillies. To me, I get why they did it. I wouldn't have offered it.
Okay.
But if I'm Bryce Harper, I love it.
Do you think they make the playoffs next year?
Oh, yeah.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
You think they take the division, or you think Atlanta takes it?
Yeah, I think. So here's here. I think that's where it can get a little bit, debatable.
Yeah.
Okay. And I think it for me the strike. It's obviously time for Atlanta to think. Is the division likely for me? I mean, I think it is. You took the shot at Donaldson this year. You hoping he can kind of become a nice middle of the order bat. But a thing that's always been an issue for me with Atlanta is the depth in the rotation. So that would be, Mike Fultonevich has been a very nice piece for them. They've been able to add Julio Teheran, who's this really promising right-hander. And to me, they've always been an interesting team pitching-wise. And now they've got all this insane talent, really, in the infield. And, when you look at their infield, okay, of Freddie Freeman, Ozzie Albies, and Josh Donaldson, and it's tremendous, okay? And then you add, the freak in Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
And, the veteran in Markakis.
Yep.
Very nice team. In Ciarteglo. So I think I'm going to give the edge to Atlanta. Would it shock me? Because if you look at Philly and you just look at the individual talent, honestly, it's not even close. I'm taking Philly and it's all day.
Yeah.
I just think it's going to take a year. They're going to get to the playoffs. They could do something. Let me point this out. They could do something. They could get to the wild card and they could go the whole way. I'm a big believer in chemistry. So I think at the end of the day, it's going to take them a couple years. They've made a lot of new pieces and shifted a lot of different guys.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to affect them, and I think Atlanta will take the division.
Let's move on to Machado. He signed for a measly 10 years, $300 million. All of it guaranteed. Again, for the listeners that don't know, whatever you sign for in baseball, that's what you're getting. There's no clauses. That's what you're getting. You sign for $300 million. That's what you're getting.
Great point, Zach.
With the Padres, it's the Padres. They haven't been relevant since Jake Peavy. That's a long time ago. It's like 10 years ago. This move just proved to me, at least with Harper, the Phillies are going to be pretty good. But like with Machado, it's like you're clearly just out for the money. This is a lot like when Melo went back to the Knicks. It's like they're ass. They're not going to do anything. You could have gone to a contender, and now with Machado, it's like you were in the World Series last year,
sure,
and now you're going to go to the bottom of the NL.
Sure.
I don't get it. I just think in baseball more than any of the other leagues, the guys are out for the money, and it's because all of it's guaranteed.
No, that's fair. Yeah. That's a great point.
I just don't get it.
I get it. In the short term,
I get the contract. I get the money. I don't get the team.
Sure. If you go short term for the Padres with him, I think he's one of the 5 stars in the MLB you want to build your team around.
Yeah. He's a top 10
So I
player.
think if you're San Diego,
top 10 player,
you're looking at it as I'm the only team in that area now. They're trying to make an impact, make a move. And then you assess it. You say, okay, I have Machado for the short term. They have the number 1 minor league system in all of the MLB. That's no joke. And there's a reason that he committed 10 years. And then the other kicker is I believe that in 2024, when he's 31, he will have the ability to opt out.
Okay.
So then...
So that's 5 years?
That's a 5-year deal.
Okay.
Opportunity to opt out.
Okay.
If it wasn't winning.
Right.
But then again, I think if you're the Padres, you're telling him what we probably convinced you on. Do you know what I'm saying? Is the fact that we can build later. Right? Because right now, in the short term, I don't see San Diego taking the Dodgers and winning the division. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Yep.
They're a good team. They could be an interesting team with the minor league talent. I just can't see it. So I think in the short term, if you look at the Padres, I think they'll be good. I think they'll be interesting. But I don't think they're going to get past the Dodgers. And, they've got some money that they could, maybe cash out in the pitching rotation. That's been a struggle for them in the last couple of years.
Sure.
So I think when they can figure out if they want to go get another domino or if they want to settle on this ginormous, and settling's not the right word. I mean, it's a grand prize when you get him. So I just think if you're San Diego, does it make a jump for you? Does it improve you? Yes. Does it improve you in the short term? No.
Bring people to the park.
Sure.
You get a guy like that, but
No, it's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So, let's move on to the NBA. We actually have some, I don't know if you want to call it breaking news, but Woj just tweeted, the Spurs and Pau Gasol agreeing to a buyout. As far as I know, he's not playing a lot of minutes for them. Because I've seen the Pacers, the game the Pacers played them earlier this year, I don't think he played. But I've always liked Pau. I mean, he was his best on the Lakers. He was a big part of those two championship teams. I mean, he didn't get enough. He didn't get jack for what he did on those teams.
Sure.
If he wasn't on those teams, they're not in the finals, let alone winning. I know Kobe gets a lot of credit, and he should. It's Kobe. But Pau Gasol, he was the second best player on that team. Wasn't even close. So, if this is it for him, good run. Hall of Famer. But I'm trying to think on the fly here what teams would want to pick him up for like the vet's minimum, for like a little playoff run. The first team that came to my mind, the Bucks. The Bucks. I mean, I don't know if they could do it or if they would do it, but I like him on the Bucks.
Okay, I'm going to be honest.
I mean, is he going to make a difference? No.
No.
But if he gets for like 10 minutes, I like him on the Bucks.
But it's interesting to me because he is a playoff eligible guy. But then at the same time, I'm like, I don't see it, Zach. Where does he make a jump for me? Where does he take me? At a veteran's minimum, where can he get me things that I don't have?
Right.
If I'm assessing the conference, if you take it from an Eastern Conference perspective, okay.
Sure.
I just 100% disagree with you on Milwaukee. I think the front court is just great, and I don't think you change it.
Okay.
I think Toronto, obviously, you're not going to get him. You've loaded up and you got Gasol. Okay.
Yeah.
And really, if I'm sitting, I can't see a fit. Like, I genuinely can't see a fit in either conference for Gasol. Like, I mean, I would not be surprised if no one strikes a deal. I would not be surprised.
No, I wouldn't either.
Great career.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
But
I wouldn't
retirement's
be
in
surprised.
play.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was it. I mean, how old is he? Like 37?
37 years old.
Yeah. So, and he had some good years on the Bulls too.
No, he did.
Like his first couple years on the Bulls,
years
is like,
Chicago.
damn, this guy.
Tremendous.
Actually, I think he was only there for 2 years.
Tremendous years. Yes.
But
yes,
he was damn good on the Bulls.
But he's not. To me, he's not jumping you.
Yeah.
He's not. Now let me point this out. Most buyout pickups aren't jumping you and taking you to a different direction.
Right.
But he doesn't supplement anything for me.
Well, if I had to bet, this is probably done. He's done. He's not going anywhere.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, gone. Good as gone.
Yeah. So.
Good as gone. But interesting news because
just thought it was worth mentioning.
Well, and here's the thing. Looking into that, does that say anything to you about where San Antonio wants to go? They've been around that 7-8 spot.
Yeah.
Kind of flipping back and forth.
I think they're gonna make it. I think they're gonna make the playoffs.
You think they're making it?
Yeah. I think they'll get that 7 because the Clippers. It's just a matter of time when they slip out. I think. I think the Kings will claim the 8th spot.
Here's the thing for. I mean, I watched San Antonio the other day. Okay.
Yeah.
And I like Aldridge and I like DeRozan.
Right.
Okay, I do, and I've been high on them on this pod, and I think they're a good team. But I'm gonna jump off the ship. I really think.
You don't think they're gonna make it?
No, I don't. I think the Clippers are gonna stay in there. You can't tell guys like Pat Beverly and Montrezl Harrell to not win me games.
So you don't think they're gonna make it? Not because they've let Gasol go.
No,
just because you don't think they're gonna
make it. I think their organization, is saying.
But not because they let Gasol go.
No.
Okay.
I mean, that only helps the cause.
Right.
But I think it's a rough patch for them, and then I think you could see. I think the Clippers could. I think it definitely could stay the same. Clippers could jump into the 7. I think the Kings with the Bagley injury really hurt them. I mean, that really hurt him. Zach, you and I are ridiculously high on the Kings, and he is one of the reasons why, and that is obviously a big deal for them.
Sure.
So that while they're in that conversation to get back in play there, it's like you're like at this, I think that injury could affect the way I look at it, right? So they could make it. It could stay the same, but like they're getting swept. And here's the thing I would say about the Clippers. If you told me that at the end of the season, Golden State would play the Clippers, let me point this out. I think it would be a sweep. But I would definitely say the Clippers are more likely to get a game on them than the Spurs.
Yeah, I mean, the Warriors have always had success against the Spurs in the playoffs, and we know why. This is Spurs. It's the Warriors, Now, I think one of the biggest what-ifs is, what if Zaza doesn't screw up Kawhi's ankle, I'm kind of going back in time here, but getting off topic. But the Spurs, I'm not saying they would have won that series. They wouldn't have got swept.
No, they wouldn't have.
They would have pushed it to 6.
Yeah, they would have.
Maybe 7. I don't know.
No, I'm with you there. They would have, and I think.
But I'm gonna disagree with you. I think the Spurs are gonna make it just because it might be Pop's last year. Who knows? I know everybody says 2020 is his last year, but.
And if they make it, like that's the thing. Like if the Kings, it just to me, it's how can the Kings rally around that injury? And
it gives Harry Giles more time.
Yes, it does. Who I love.
Yeah.
And you're talking. So if you give Giles the more opportunity, that will always win me over. Okay. But if you're the, the Spurs, the threat of them is not there for me anymore.
No, it's not.
They're not there for me.
Wasn't there last year either.
No one. And to me, they really lack a third option. And they lack a potential third option. They don't even.
I called it. He's planning to sign with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Pau Gasol to Milwaukee.
How about that?
Off the buyout deal.
Crystal ball.
According to Adrian Wojnarowski. Zach Griffin was able to call that.
Called that shit.
Genius. Even genius. I mean, he and I thought it would either be
Where's my
them
300 mil?
Or,
Yeah.
no one.
Yeah.
But he did. Shout out to Zach Griffin.
Hey, what can I say?
On that call. Beautiful call. Beautiful call.
Let's move into kind of make fun of ourselves here.
Yeah.
So at the Campus Citizen, before the season started, we kind of did a piece, predictions of the major individual awards and what the standings were going to look like at the end of the year. And so far, pretty bad looking back on it. So we're just going to go through here and see who we chose and how it looks now. Caleb, why don't you go first? You got that pulled up? Or I can read off it here.
Yeah. If you could, Zach's gonna take the doc for a minute, but yeah.
Caleb, you had Kawhi, which is better than who I had. It's better than who I had. He's definitely a top 5. Sure. He's gonna finish in the top 5 in the MVP voting. But here's what you had to say. You said Kawhi's returning from injury this season. Many argue he won't be the same player. I disagree. He's a very smart player, can impact the game in many ways. Raptors will see the benefits of Leonard's versatility, and he will prove to the NBA that he's back. And he has.
He's proven that he's back. I mean, he's what we think he is.
That ship has sailed. He's
a
back.
top 5 player.
He's back.
Yeah, and but again, I feel like it's a 3-man race, to be completely honest with you. And he's in there, top 5. He's in there.
Yeah.
I just, sadly, I made fun of myself. I can make fun of myself and say I'm missing it because I didn't have, Paul George, James Harden, or any of them. So I'll take the L.
And Devin's pick, Devin could not be here today, but his pick, Anthony Davis. And here's what he had to say. He said when Boogie went down with Achilles last season, many didn't know what to expect from the Pels. Soon thereafter, and he puts Davis's stats: 30 points, 11 boards, 3.5 blocks. 3.5 blocks, my God. And then he says, with the loss of Cousins, but the acquisitions of Julius Randle and Elfrid Payton, he's primed for a monster year. And he's had... Oh, shit.
Elfrid Payton makes me laugh. Like, I'm sorry, I can't even respect it. I can't even. Come on, Devin. I thought I knew you better than that. Come on, buddy. Elfrid Payton was a proven guy. Okay, that was not anymore. The Drew Holiday, I would say, is probably your reason maybe for that case. I would be giving him some trouble on that if he were on the pod today. But
he is right. AD's had a monster year.
Yes, he has.
It's just been this huge black eye of the whole trade thing and how bad he handled that.
Yeah, you're right.
So this year, when you look back on AD in 2019, all you're going to think of is, oh, he asked for a trade that year. You're not going to think of his stats that year.
No.
And then I had LeBron James. I'm not proud of this. I mean, at the time, yeah, Caleb, you're laughing. At the time, it seemed good. I mean, I really thought, wow, he's going to come there. It's just him and the young guys, and he's going to make all the young guys better. They're going to win 50 games. They're going to be tough, and it's just been the complete opposite.
It's like watching the Kardashians or something.
It is so bad. It is so bad.
Just need Chris Humphries.
Hey, I mean, they brought in Mike Muscala. I mean, Chris Humphries could be next.
He's the same guy, but I mean, but let me. I mean,
it's always a safe bet to say LeBron, and I thought it was really safe this year, and it couldn't have been more wrong. So, moving on to Rookie of the Year.
Yep.
Both Caleb and Devin said DeAndre Ayton, who, I mean, it's always safe to say the number 1 pick's going to win Rookie of the Year. Except if he's Anthony Bennett. Then it's not
piece
safe.
of crap. Look, I mean, you take a look at Ayton, okay? And look, the talent level's there.
Right.
He has an ability to be a very nice player in the NBA.
It's there.
I mean, and
you can see why they picked him number 1.
But yeah, you can. But there's a guy in Dallas named Luka Doncic who's just taking the league by storm.
That's who I picked for the season. I don't want to brag, but I picked Luka. I was the only one at the Citizen who picked Luka. I'm not going to brag here. But But I mean, you could kind of see this coming. I mean, he just dominated the EuroLeague, second best league in the world. He's playing with grown ass men over there.
Fair.
He played over 100 games last year.
Yeah.
And he was just ready. It was just a matter of time.
He was.
So, and the Mavs, I think they're going to make the playoffs next year when KP comes back.
Yeah.
Fair move. They'll be knocking on the door.
Sure. I think that I agree.
But this guy's going to be MVP of the league in the next 8 years or something. I mean, he really could be.
Oh, sure. I think that's definitely a possibility. He could grab one, and look, you absolutely demolished us in our rookie predictions. Ayton's a nice player.
What can I say?
But it's just I gotta admit, Zach Griffin, that he won Rookie of the Year, and that's a little bit, it's gonna piss me off. So.
Most improved player. I did not nail this one. Caleb, you had Aaron Gordon. You want to explain? Why you said that? I mean, that made sense at the time.
Yeah, it did.
In October.
Yeah, it did. Look, I going in depression after that pick. Look, I think he's a very nice.
Every pick makes
piece,
sense at the time, except
but and let me point this out, that Orlando jumped into the 8th seed, so I can ride this train of Orlando I've been riding on all year long, baby, to get me to the playoffs. They've been riding it all year, but look, Gordon has just not. He's not been there. Vucevic has been the guy.
Yeah, he's been the guy.
I definitely didn't get that right, and Devin took me to school with his.
Yeah, Devin. He didn't nail it, but he did a hell of a lot better than we did. He had De'Aaron Fox, who early in the year was probably the front runner for most improved. I mean, the Kings. Sure. He's got the Kings. He's the leader of the Kings, right? Pretty unquestioned leader.
Yep.
They're knocking on the door of the playoffs. I think they're gonna make it. I mean, dude's good. He's just good.
Sure.
And then I had Gary Harris. I'm not proud of this. It doesn't help he's coming off the bench now. But yeah, that's who we had from.
And to defend it, there's been an injury problem for him this season.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still trying to somewhat recover from that, and Denver's, with Malik Beasley, a really nice guard. So, I mean, I think in a way it's just unexpected timing on the injury.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the pick was there. He's been great this season. He's been good when he's been healthy this season.
Yeah. Here's who we had for the surprise team of the year. I had the worst of these. So, Caleb, you nailed this. Not even close, you nailed this. You had the Nuggets.
Heck yeah, I did.
Really no explanation needed.
Whoa, baby! Look, I will take Denver as my surprise team. I was high on Denver. Gosh, I love it. Look, I'm telling you, I think they were someone that I loved the collection of talent, and it just marvelous, really, and tremendous. So I just Denver for me, Jokic and the depth that they have, it was something that I kept my eye on all season. But man, second place in the West is fantastic. Mike Malone has really proven to be exactly what I thought he would be. Coming into the season, which is someone that would have to get his team to buy in, and man, he's just totally done that.
I'm a little confused by Devin's pick. He had the Thunder. I'm just a little confused by it.
Maybe he took them. It'd be interesting, but I think he may have seen that jump, and he could have seen them maybe take that jump to second in the West. But the surprise. I don't know, man. I'm a little bit disappointed.
Maybe. Maybe he was thinking like they might take the 1 seed, or something like that. I mean, they got rid of Melo, so that always helps. And I had oh god, I had the Bulls. Surprise team.
Yeah, that was on you, man. You could have you were able to nail a couple of picks today. You were able to nail Gasol and Doncic.
My NBA IQ just
was diminished.
It just plummeted.
Yeah, I diminished it for you. But then you look at the the champions in the league, and in both conferences, respectively. We all struck out. We have Boston.
Yeah.
Which, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
It's just they're just the functionals. They're functionals all get out. And Zach, you had Indiana being that team.
I mean, it could have happened.
Yeah, it could have. I'm not gonna take it against you.
It could have happened.
And then you obviously got Golden State. All of us do in the West.
Yeah.
Then you get to NBA champions.
We don't even need to go through that.
I mean, look.
A couple of us had the Celtics. I had the Warriors.
Yeah.
You and Devin had the Celts.
No.
Mostly because of Brad Stevens, it
Sure.
looks like.
Yeah, I mean, we just thought they were going to have the
Look,
gist.
everybody thought they were going to win like 65 games.
No, they did.
I mean, can't blame you.
No, I can't.
Can't blame you.
Yeah, fair point.
So let's see what our predictions are now.
Please, I need to redeem myself.
Yes. Caleb, let's do the All-NBA teams first.
Oh. All right, going right into the big one here.
And I have Devin's picks here as well.
Okay.
So we'll get Devin involved.
Yeah.
Let's start with your first team. Who's on your first team?
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I think 4 of these are locks.
Sure.
But let's see
look,
what
I've got Steph Curry.
Yeah,
Just marvelous.
Yeah.
No other way to put it. Just been a marvelous player all season.
Yeah.
And you got James Harden. Right, his offensive numbers are just really insane and remarkable.
Yeah.
Fans around the league and of this pod. I mean, please.
Yeah.
You get the chance to watch James Harden's offensive skills. I highly recommend it. I don't find it boring. You move into Paul George. I mean, sensational as all get out this season. He's been able to produce and really take the number 1 option this year. I mean, honestly, remarkable what he's been doing. And then you got the Greek Freak leading the Milwaukee Bucks, number 1 record in the East right now. It's absolutely marvelous.
In the league, I think.
Unbelievable. Really, honestly, sensational what they've been doing and what he has done to get them to that point. My center is Joel Embiid, man. I just think, the injury...
I don't have a problem with it.
The injury to me is that there's a level of,
Can't argue with his numbers.
The numbers have been there for him. When you take a deeper look...
And they're probably going to get the
into the... Yes, and you look deeper into the stat book for him this season...
I think he's averaging 27.
I mean, look, he's been an all-star this season. I mean, this man has been at 27 points, 13.5 boards. He's been getting you 2 blocks. Absolutely sensational. I mean, normally I like to have this rule, and in Philly, I mean, personally, there's a guy in Denver that I think is in that list as well, and Jokic. But man, I think the talent, just individual talent. I don't know. There's something about Embiid I couldn't pass up, but I definitely would not be surprised if Jokic, that was the guy I was kind of battling with.
Look, I mean, there's some guys, not a lot anymore, as much as there used to be, but there's some guys who they're so physically imposing that it's just like, what do I do? And Embiid's one of those guys.
Sure.
He's so damn big.
Yeah.
And he's so damn good.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to let him get his 30.
7 feet, 250 pounds.
Yeah, so. Devin's first team, Steph, James Harden. I think we're all going to have that. Forwards, he had Paul George and Giannis. And center, he had the Joker. I don't have any problems with this. I mean, how about you?
No, I don't either. I mean, look, you could interchange that.
Who were your 2 forwards again?
I had my
Giannis?
2 forwards as Paul George and Giannis.
Okay, so you had the same except for you.
Yeah, and look. To me, it is so interchangeable.
I got to take a leak real quick. You keep going.
So I think that's something to keep an eye on, because I mean, you just don't with Jokic, at least. I mean, he's been leading their conference. He's the second. It's been his first All-Star game this year. Warriors have been dominating the West, and Denver has been the second best team in the conference this year. So by all means, if you look at the stories and the headlines, I would definitely say that you could lean towards that as a possibility. Because, I mean, what he's been doing this season, I mean, I would love to point the stats out to you all. I mean, look, this man, okay, he's been able to deliver 20 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. The 7 assists is just remarkable for a center like that. I mean, tremendous, absolutely tremendous. He's the guy that they're running their offense towards. It is really, honestly, it's really special to watch in. And then you can see, like, going in deeper into what they've been doing. You know, guys like Malik Beasley, right, have been stepping up and giving you punches off the bench. And Monte Morris has been able to give you punches off the bench. And it's honestly been remarkable what those guys have been able to do in Denver. And Jokic has been the reason why, man. I mean, this has been his first All-Star game, much deserved. Played 60 games this season. He's nothing short of sensational. And, you know, Zach, take it away with your first team here. I mean, I'm curious to see what you got.
Well, pretty similar except for one. I got one different guy in there. I got Steph and Harden. Don't need to explain those. Center, I got the Joker. Forward, I got Giannis. Other forward, I got Kawhi. And I got Kawhi over Paul George. I am rewarding winning here.
No, that's fair. You will never, fans of this pod, you will never hear me disagree about winning. Okay, I think that is fair if that's where he's going at. But, you know, I will hold him accountable if he, you know, goes south of the winning ideas.
I mean,
no, it's fair.
I just think Kawhi is a better defender.
I agree.
This year, I think Paul is a better offensive player. I don't really think I can argue that. He's second in the league in scoring.
Sure.
Only behind Harden.
Sure.
So, let's move on to second team.
Oh, yeah.
Second team, who you got? Guards.
So, look, you get the guards are set.
This is where it gets interesting.
So here's the thing for me. Okay, when I go to guards, to me, Damian Lillard's been nothing short of remarkable. To me, he's in my second team. That was a lock for me as I was addressing all this. I mean, he has been absolutely marvelous. I originally had them as my most disappointing team in this season. Obviously, when you can put up 26 points, 6 assists and 5 rebounds, and you're, you know, fourth in the West, you're going to make me look like an idiot. And Damian Lillard has definitely made me think that way. And, you know, you have CJ McCollum and Nurkic and others who have been sensational. He's in my second team.
He's your guard.
He's my guard. And then I have Irving, Kyrie Irving in the second team. I mean, to me, you know, there's only a couple guards in this league that I'm taking over this young, sensational.
He's a top 3-point
guard. Oh, hell yeah. I mean, 23 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists.
I don't like some of the stuff he said this year.
Sure.
But, I mean, you can't argue.
No, I mean, he's been marvelous. He's been marvelous again. You know, he is one of the best players, one of the 10 best players in our league. And, you know, those were my guards. And Leonard, and Kawhi Leonard was in my second team. I just think what George has done this year, the story and the headline jumped out to me when thinking about Paul George. I think, you know, going off Zach's point, sure, they've been winning more. I just think the story and the headline got to me. I mean, he's really taken the number one option away from Russell Westbrook, and it's been, you know, a very different Thunder team to watch this season.
Well, it helps when Russ is shooting 20%.
Yeah. And I think, you know, and I think for me that's been a reason I put him over him. But I have Kawhi in there. I mean, the Raptors this year have been great.
Oh, yeah.
And then, you know, the guy we haven't mentioned that is just, it's shocking, to be honest, is Kevin Durant. I mean, dear Lord, you look at what Kevin Durant has done this season. Okay, it's been nothing but sort of sensational. He could be first team.
You could put him on first team and nobody would argue with you.
No, I mean 27, 7, and 5.
But it's just like you're gonna put him over PG and Kawhi this year.
It's just hard. It's just hard, you know. And he and it's nothing. You can't. And the sad part is he's putting up insane numbers, consistent numbers.
Yep.
It's just like what they've done this season to me. But I mean, look, Durant is obviously the second best player in our league.
Yes.
And, you know, he may not have gotten first team just because of this season. But, you know, that's just the way it was. And then for me, I got Jokic. You know, I went in on the pod on that and the Jokic thing for you. And then also for me and why I have him at second team. heat from. He's been nothing but sensational for Denver, and it says it all, man. He's 7 assists, remarkable.
Devin's second team. These guards, he's got Damian Lillard and Russ. I like that. And his forwards, he's got Kawhi and KD. Center Joel Embiid. You're making a face. What's the matter? What's the matter?
Nah.
Which
Look,
one?
I can't.
Which one do you not like?
I don't like Russ's second team.
But he's averaging a triple-double. If the season ended, he's
But
average a
you mentioned
triple-double.
He's shooting piss poor.
Right.
I mean, for Christ's sakes.
This will be the third straight year where he's averaging a triple-double.
Look, I'm not... Okay, the consistency of it's there. But can we remember what's made them good this year? The depth.
Right.
The depth.
Yep.
And to me, I am... Let me ask you this, then. Let me ask you this. This season, well, let me get to your team, and then if you have this same second team, then I want to propose this question to you.
Okay.
But I'm curious. What's your guards in second team?
Guards second team. We got Dame. We got Kemba Walker. Yeah.
I mean, sensational.
And I know it's kind of going against my thing, awarding him for winning.
I'm calling him out. I mean, look, I'm going to call you out in a minute. Go on.
But I just think his stats this year and the fact that he is single-handedly keeping that team afloat and in the picture, I'm going to give him the second team nod.
Fair.
Forwards, you got KD, you got PG, and center, I got Embiid.
No, I mean, I don't have a disagreement with that. I think he's been really good this season. I'm not gonna disagree.
Kemba, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
He's been good. For me, winning is huge. It's written all over my list, and you'll see it in my third team. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
And I think it'll be interesting to see, how much. I think that, for you, I think it's a fair thing. But I'm gonna go in on Devin right here with Russell Westbrook's second team. Look,
buckle up, Devin. Buckle up.
I mean, look, Russell Westbrook's been a triple-double guy this season, led your team. But here's a question I want to propose to you, and I'm going to propose to you, Zach, and Devin, ponder this, and fans around here ponder this. With 24 seconds left in the shot clock, and you're down 1 point, and all you want's one bucket. You're taking Russell Westbrook over Kyrie Irving?
No, I'm not.
You're not.
I'm just saying I think Russ has had a better year than Kyrie. I just think statistically he's had a better year. And the Thunder are better than the Celtics.
But for me, I credit a lot of what they're doing to coaching in depth. I am a big believer in the depth in coaching they've had. I'm a big believer in the fact that I think Schroeder has really made this team different.
Okay.
He has really changed how I assess them. Jeremy Grant has really changed how I assess them. Steven Adams has been great this year. Terrence Ferguson's been good.
Love Jeremy
Grant. I think for me, that's I'm not able the thing with Russ, the fear is there for me, but I'm not, and when I face him, there's a level of like, I face Russell Westbrook. But for me, I have that more with Kyrie Irving this season. Still, through all of that.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Yeah. I mean, Kyrie, I think we can all agree Steph's the best point guard.
Yes.
Right. But I think Russ is second. I think Kyrie's third. I think Dame's fourth. But we can go into that some other time. Some other time.
You better say some other time.
Who you got on your third team?
Look, for my third team, I will put Russ in my third team. I will, because I'm with you. I think he's been sensational. I'm just not taking him over Kyrie Irving. Here's the other thing.
I have no quarrel.
Here's the other thing. Here's a guy I'm gonna flip in here. Okay, let's get stir a little buzz in you. All right.
Okay.
He just made his first All-Star game this season, and he's been nothing but sensational. And I'm gonna tag I'm going to tag Ben Simmons on my third team. I think he has been, with the 16 points, 9 and 8, remarkable, really. Very balanced, polished, been doing everything.
But let me ask him.
Yes.
You need a shot. Kyrie Irving and Ben
Russell
Simmons.
Westbrook, but Russell Westbrook can't give me a shot. So here's my argument, and I knew you were coming up with this point, so I'm coming at your throat here. Look, when you have, in my opinion, Kemba Walker's been carrying the team on his shoulders, but in a capacity, winning's important.
Yeah, it is.
Situations.
That's why I had Kawhi.
So with one of my picks in my third team, the winning aspect of it is just, it's hard to explain. It's an organizational dysfunction, and I'll get into that in a little bit. But for me, Ben Simmons, I'm going with winning, and I'm going to reward the Sixers in that. I'm going to reward. Now, here's the argument you could make here. If I'm going to reward somebody, at that point, why am I not taking Milwaukee? Because they have the best record in the league, and I'm taking Chris Middleton. I just think Simmons, to me, all around, has been outstanding. A very good defensive player.
Yeah.
And I think
he's taking a step up.
He has. And for me, he's in my third team.
But you just can't get past the fact that, like, I watch Sixers games, and he brings the ball up and he passes like Jimmy or something, and he just goes and hides under the basket. I mean, he's absolutely, other than his passing, obviously, and his post up,
sure,
he is no threat on offense. Not a threat.
I think driving to the rim, without a doubt, he is a threat. And
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I think he's
and
without
his
a threat.
Up and his passing.
I mean, fair. It's fair, but I'm not taking Kemba. I'm not over Simmons. I mean, congratulations, you started in the All-Star game. You started in the All-Star game with your hometown. Okay. But I'm not taking him over. I'm not doing it. I think Simmons has been great this season.
Okay.
As I move into the front court of my third team.
Yeah, go ahead and finish it.
I have LeBron, man.
Yeah.
I can't not. I feel like it's just hard to not.
It's fine.
It's like
it's the
he's
king.
just been he's been the king.
Yeah.
Okay. And then my forward, I call me out. Organizational dysfunctional mess in New Orleans, but I can't not pick Davis in my third team. I can't not. He's been outstanding when he's on the court, and the Pelicans have just decided to shut him down.
Yeah.
Whatever. And then my center was Rudy Gobert. I think he's been tremendous. Utah's been tremendous, and
I like that.
Yeah, I got that's my third.
Did you watch that game last night?
Yeah.
He shut down Jokic.
Yeah, he did.
Shut him down.
Marvelous.
He shut him down.
Yeah.
That's not easy.
No.
Devin's third team. Kind of similar to yours. He's got Kyrie and Kemba at the guards. He's got LeBron at one of the forwards, and he has in his notes here, he's got LeBron on the third team because of the injury and the Lakers aren't too hot. Which,
it's fair.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Then he's got Blake at the forward. And he says, but he had AD and he crossed AD out, and he said, no Davis due to the minutes restriction, which, no problem with that. No problem with that. And then his center, he's got Rudy Gobert.
Fair.
So you want to go in on Blake?
No.
You're gonna let it sit.
I'm letting that one sit. But you go in. I want to hear your third.
Give Devin a break.
I want to. Yeah, I do. I'm giving him a break today. I'm coming at your throat though. If I don't accept.
Well,
so take it away.
I don't think you're gonna like at least one of these. My third team guard, I got Russ. Bradley Beal. But I know that goes totally against my awarding winning.
It does.
But I could not find.
That's fair.
Another shooting guard.
That's fair.
Better than him.
I agree. No, I can listen to that one. I was debating on him and Simmons. That's who I was debating on. Let me point that out.
Okay.
And to me, I rewarded the winning. I just did. And I think Beal's been sensational. He's been really, really remarkable this season.
Yes.
Not totally with you on Beal 13. Not coming at your neck on that.
Forwards. I'm like you. I got AD in there. I mean, I know he's...
Sure.
I know this season's been a train wreck for him and the Pels. but he's just still putting up monster stats.
Yeah, he is.
Monster stats. And he's not even playing in the fourth quarter anymore.
No.
I don't like putting him there because I'm not sure I like AD anymore. But I'm putting him there.
I mean, the media distractions have been all over him. I think it's going to affect his reputation going forward.
Yeah.
You know, but don't discredit the stats. You know, it's been remarkable.
And my other forward, I got LeBron. Which, I mean, you know.
Sure.
It's LeBron.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, no other explanation.
I couldn't leave him out.
No.
And he has made the first team, I believe, every year since, 2008.
I will be able, from what I believe, that is a true statement.
Every year since 2008, he's been on the first team.
That confirm it. I will confirm that.
I'm pretty sure.
Research from Zach Griffin. I think that is, he has been first team last 8 seasons. Really remarkable.
So this will be the first time. Not only is he not going to be in the finals.
Yes.
He's not going to be on the first team. So and
he's not making the playoffs.
Probably not. I got a little side discussion about LeBron. Is he still the best player in the NBA? Do you think he's the best player in the league?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I think.
But here's my. I mean, look. I mean, fans. I don't want to leave you, not entertained by my beautiful discussions. I mean, look. LeBron is. There's only one guy in the situation that the Lakers are in right now, where I'm like, man, if there's a guy that can take that team to the playoffs,
it's him.
It's him.
Yeah.
And honestly, the list just goes, and then the other person goes in there. Okay, so I think LeBron is just levels above everybody still, in my opinion. The jump is not there. I think Greek Freak is coming.
Yeah.
I think Durant is second.
I
just
think
don't know.
I think there's definitely room for debate now. The past few years, it's been there's no debate.
I agree. There's a debate there. I'm just not taking money over him right now. That's all I'm saying.
I get it.
That's all I'm saying.
And then my third team center, Cat. Karl Anthony Towns.
I'm rolling my eyes at this one.
I didn't feel good about this.
You shouldn't.
I wanted to put Rudy in there. If only for his defense. But I gave Rudy some love in the awards section. I gave him some love.
Okay, let me ask you this. Okay, look. Minnesota has been a total and complete train wreck. Jimmy Butler has been absolutely 100. He's been nonsense.
What makes you say that?
That situation's been nonsense. and that's they got Sergeant Covington. Thibodeau gets fired. All of a sudden, I'm seeing Flip Saunders' son get the coaching job, and they're not in the playoffs. Okay, they're not in the playoffs. Gobert offensively, how? I mean, he's not the greatest offensively, but defensively, I'm not taking Towns. So what makes why lean towards it? I'm asking you this because I'm sitting here and I'm like, what's the mindset behind this losing effort when this man rewards it in the first team efforts? He takes winners in the first team. He takes Kawhi Leonard. He says to me on this podcast, Kawhi Leonard has been winning more games, so I'm going to take him over Paul George, and he's a better defender. There's a similar argument to be had here with Rudy Gobert.
That's true.
As a way better defender.
Oh yeah.
And a better team and a better record. So, Zach, you're going to have to defend this one to me. I mean, you're going off your logic.
No, I am a little bit.
Yeah, you are.
But I just think Cat has had a better year than Rudy. I just think he's had a better year. Obviously Rudy's the best rim protector in the league, right? Best.
Yeah.
But I just think Cat's never been known for his defense.
No, he isn't.
I just think but if you take him off the Timberwolves, they are ass. But if you take Rudy off the Jazz, they're hanging around.
No, they aren't. Defensively, I think offensively.
I'm saying here's
it because Towns is more offensively gifted than Gobert. Gobert is a really pick and roll heavy guy. He's going to finish around the rim. He's more of close to your traditional center.
Right.
And Towns is a little bit different in that regard. But I mean, again, to me, Utah in a top heavy West with no Gobert. Am I seeing this team make the playoffs?
I think
their points per game in the paint have been awful, and a part of it has been, and he's a guy that's keeping them afloat in that regard.
I'm just saying, if the Timberwolves lost Towns for a week, they would lose all those games. But if the Jazz lost Gobert for a week, they would get a couple wins.
That's fair. That's fair. I mean, due to the fact that Minnesota doesn't have as much talent as Utah, I think that's fair. But I get it. The offensive talent's there for Towns. It makes sense. It's logical.
Let's move on to the awards, individual awards. We'll start with MVP. Who you got?
We're going on the big time one here.
Yeah.
I mean, okay.
Let's just start big.
Wow. Oh, okay. I mean, look, I'm gonna take Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks have the best record in the league. They're winning.
Yeah.
To me, his impact on defense is remarkable, and he has an ability. Fans. He has this dimension to him. The way that he can help D and the way that he can do all this other stuff impacts how teams go at him. And to me, that should be rewarded. If you look at individual stats, you're leaning towards Paul George. But I just don't think that, Giannis's impact is able to be shown in the stats defensively. And not saying, let me point this out. I'm not saying his stats are remarkable here. Okay. I mean, defensively, when you take a look at what Giannis Antetokounmpo has been doing, okay, 1.5 blocks, 1.4 steals, nothing short of remarkable on that end of the floor. He's been absolutely marvelous. They can put out Nikola Mirotic, and Nikola Mirotic can look like an average defender because of what Giannis can do. And to me, he makes more of an impact on both ends. And I'm gonna stick with the loyalty of, if someone's winning, I'm gonna reward them. I'm not gonna put Karl-Anthony Towns on my third team because he's not winning. And I think I'm leaning towards Giannis right now as the MVP. I just am. I mean, Harden offensively has been marvelous, but the defensive liabilities stand out to me. It's sad that I say that. I'm sad that I have to say that, but it's the truth.
I mean, this year, the past couple of years, not so much last year, but the 2 years before that, it's kind of been a toss-up for MVP. This year, it's somewhat of a toss-up, but I think Harden's gonna take it. I mean, I'm gonna kind of go back to my logic here, if you want to call it logic. I just think if you take Harden off the Rockets, they are at the bottom. But if you take Giannis off the Bucks, they'll make the playoffs in the East.
But then you're debating conference, and you're debating on conference, right? And we can all sit here and say the West is so much heavier than the East, right? So I don't really, when you talk conference, to me that's when it gets hard, because I'm with you. I think that I agree, but then I'm comparing it to the West it's a totally different beast. You know what I'm saying? And so I think for me, when I look at George, leading the league in steals. Okay.
Yeah, he is. I
mean, he's been nothing but sensational, and he's been able to be in that category for a long time. Even in his days in Indiana, man.
Yep.
And I think George has been really sensational on that end of the floor, and has been probably What? The best two-way player in the league?
Just
Are we calling him the best two-way player in the league right now? I mean, I'm calling him the best two-way player in the league right now.
I'd say it's him or Kawhi.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's been a great year for him in his prime at 28 years old.
Best year yet.
Yeah.
It's his best year.
I mean, it's been great for him.
Yeah. So, and I'd like to throw Jokic in there as well.
Sure.
He's not gonna win.
Sure.
But
Sure.
I think he deserves.
No, I'm always with you on that. I think Jokic has been absolutely sensational. And like I mentioned earlier in the pod, Jokic has, what he can do for you and do for your team. There's nothing like him in the NBA. Nothing.
And then Devin has James Harden as well.
I mean, look, I'm not disagreeing. And to be completely honest,
disagree with either one.
And to be completely honest here, it goes back to.
I mean, he did drop 58 last night.
You go back to the stories of the headlines, and I mean, I'm gonna get serious on this.
Okay.
Here's the thing: Houston's got one of the biggest markets in the league. Can we agree?
Yeah.
The push of that, the push of that, has been able for fans to see Harden more. Less so with Giannis. More so than years past, but less than if you're talking about Houston.
Yeah.
Right. Paul's injury helping the cause of Harden. Giannis.
Yes. And Capella.
His second best option. Now, let me point this out. Chris Middleton's second best option. He's an all-star. Okay, I'm not saying Chris Middleton or Eric Bledsoe or his benchmate Pau Gasol. I'm not saying those guys are. Yeah. New benchmate who's not going to play. Look, I think that if you're, if you're Yacht, I think to me, Harden's offensive abilities are great. It just defensively, it's hard for me. And while the NBA
he's always been
has relied heavily on offense, when it comes to this, which just it frustrates me. Because of how much the NBA looks in the offensive statistics and doesn't take a look at the other parts of defense. Because if you look at defense, Harden is not in this conversation.
No.
He's just not. He's not even in that.
Neither is Jokic.
No. And so I think, it's interesting because then for me, I always like to get in this debate if there should be a valuable player and best player.
Yeah.
Right? Because I'm tagging Harden as best. And to me, then I'm tagging valuable to Giannis.
That's fair.
So, I don't know. I always get in that debate. I always prefer that. But, take it away, Zach, on your next call.
Most improved. Who you got? Most improved player.
Well, look, man. I've got like a couple guys here. This is my hardest one. Okay. Not even close. I got multiple guys in here. Okay. Yeah. I would say, man.
Who do you think's gonna take it?
Pascal Siakam. I mean, what he has done this season has been.
I believe he's doubled his scoring average from last year.
Remarkable.
That's who I had too.
You just remarkable. Okay.
I had Siakam
at 16-7 this season. After, a season where he was at 12 points with 12 and 7, it's just he's really just shown this confidence in himself and this ability it's just changed how the Raptors are being perceived, how they can throw different lineups out there. But there needs to be some guys mentioned here.
Sure,
Zach. I'd be interested to hear Devin's. I know, and I want you to go in on your take with Siakam. But what was your take on Siakam? What do you think he's been for the Raptors?
He's boosted his scoring average, which always helps.
Yeah, yes.
His defensive play has been so good. And I think when you watch those games when Kawhi's out, he's the guy. It's not Lowry.
Yeah.
It's not Lowry.
Great
it's not
point.
Ibaka.
Great point. When you watch Toronto this
He's
season, he is the guy. Yep, I'm with you.
I just think, and I don't know if it's because Nick Nurse took over. I don't know what it is. Or if he just got better. But
sure.
I think he's the guy.
Sure.
Devin had D'Angelo Russell. I'm not going to argue with it. He's averaging 20 this year. He was an all-star.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not going to argue.
Is
That's
he
a
the best
very
player
good
on
point.
the Nets, probably?
No, yeah. Man, what a story.
Yeah.
Too.
And they're going to make the playoffs.
No, they are. and they could do some dangerous work in that 6th seed.
Yeah.
Let me point that out.
Yep.
So, and he's going to be a part of that. And if I'm Brooklyn, I think fair, totally fair. Highly, I can listen to that. But again, I'm going to contradict because, man, I think the defense is just not there for him. It's just not.
It's not.
Okay, I'm not sold on it. You got to give me a tremendous amount offensively. Okay, if you're going to overcome the defense, what Harden is doing, you have to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Defensively, for me, Russell's just not there. So, like, that would be the reason that I would take Siakam. But then I would go into the West. I would even argue De'Aaron Fox because I just think Fox just gives a rip. He plays so hard, and I know Zach,
preseason.
You and I have been high on the Kings, and he's why 17 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists.
Yeah,
remarkable, really. Yeah. The jump he's made from last year, where it was just odd. Like, I mean, boys and girls, George Hill was starting at point guard. George Hill.
It's a low point. Believe me, I've been there.
It's a low point, yeah. And look, I think he's been remarkable this year. And the minutes he's had, the opportunities he's had, and defensively, to me, he's just better than Russell. 2 steals a night for him. Russ, I believe, is just 1 a game. Maybe 1 or less than 1. And look, I just think it's been really remarkable with Fox this season. I've been high on him all year, and I think he and Siakam were my top 2 because as I look here, I mean, Russell has been getting 1 steal a night, and his plus-minus numbers have not been there. He's not, to me, capable of locking down the top NBA guards.
No, he's not.
And that to me is why I would lean towards Fox.
Yeah.
More than him, but I think Russell, I can listen.
Let's just go ahead and sweep through Rookie of the Year. I don't think we're going to have a problem with this one. I got Luka. Devin's got Luka.
I got Luka.
Yeah. That's basically
I mean, he's just been sensational this year. And then going off of Zach's summary on the Campus Citizen website, go check that out, man. I mean, it's preseason content, but we've got some Collins in there to keep an eye on. And look, and I know Zach's done a marvelous job with his NBA column. I'll give him a shout out right here. But look, I mean, he's been averaging 26 and 7 on the year as a rookie. Absolutely remarkable. Okay, has not been afraid of competition. Has taken over leadership responsibilities, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's been nothing short of sensational. I mean, at 6'7", to do what he is capable of doing is just, it's freakish. It's just freakish.
Yeah, I mean, this was
must watch.
Really is. I mean, this was the easiest one.
Yeah.
I think his ceiling. There is no ceiling for him. He's only.
I've never seen anything like him. You know what I'm saying?
I'd have to think about it, but I can't.
No,
nobody pops to mind.
No, because
nobody pops to mind.
No, I mean, in terms of a guard that's come out of Europe and done the things he's done, I can't think of one.
Yeah.
It's just been remarkable.
Yeah.
He's came into the league and has just done whatever he wants.
I mean, it's really just a plug and play.
Yeah.
Just put him in and he's going to ball out.
Sure.
Defensive Player of the Year. I got Rudy. I gave him some love because I snubbed him on the 3rd team.
No, you should have. You son of a-
Devin's got Rudy. I mean, this guy, we saw it last night in the Nuggets game. He just shut down their best player. And he completely controlled the game on defense. Completely controlled the game.
Fair.
I mean, do you have Rudy? Who'd you have?
Here's the thing for me. I put Rudy in my 3rd team.
Yeah.
I think he's been deservedly so. But I'm going to reward the likeliness of this award going to him is slim to none.
Okay.
Because of the fact that, it's the NBA really. And they're going to rig this team anyway. But I'm going with, I think Turner has just been.
Miles Turner.
Has just taken that jump. Miles Turner.
Leading the league in blocks.
Has been just taking an insane jump on that end of the floor.
Leading the league in blocks.
Really remarkable.
Over
and
3
then
blocks.
they've been able to keep the 3 seed in the East right now over Sixers and Boston.
Yeah.
Absolutely sensational.
Mostly due to him.
And I agree. It's been mostly due to him, and I feel like it should be rewarded.
2.8 blocks.
Remarkable.
For Miles.
Remarkable. And to me, you see the impact and activity level he has on that end, and just in general, what he's done to take that next step has been remarkable.
Yeah.
And offensively as well, he's been great.
Yep.
So I think defensively speaking, I'm taking him. He's been great this season.
I agree with you. It's not going to happen, but I would love to see it.
I mean, that's just it's my thought, but I really think at the end of the day, like Turner
the only time we see
getting
Pacers
it. Turner getting it would not shock me. It's just in general, it's the way the league is.
Yep.
Okay, and Gobert has been snubbed. And I think that they would lean towards him for Defensive Player of the Year, but I just think Turner needs to get some credit. I would vote him in as DPOY.
Sixth man. This one was kind of tough, but I got Schroeder. I know you got Schroeder.
I do. I mean, look, the Thunder have addressed a consistent problem they have had over the past couple of years.
Really, ever since they let Reggie Jackson go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and they picked him up because they wanted to get rid of Carmelo Anthony. Okay.
It's pretty.
So obviously they've been doing well.
Pretty good trade.
So I think Schroeder's been remarkable for the Thunder. Has given them a great element that they've been needing, a source of energy that they've been needing, and I got nothing but love for Schroeder, and I think his defense has been good, and in general the playmaking that he's had has been great when he and Russ are on the floor together.
Yeah.
So I think especially if you watch Thursday night's game of Thunder and Philadelphia, he was able to get some things going, make some different things, and approach it differently than the Thunder would have in the past, and Schroeder has been able to let them do that.
Yeah. I mean, when they first got him, I liked it.
Yeah.
But I was a little iffy, like, they're going to play him and Russ together.
Sure.
I don't see Russ playing off ball.
Right.
And I was wrong. He's great off ball.
Yeah, he's good.
So
He's great off ball. Yeah, I'm with you.
And Devin's got Lou Williams.
I mean, look.
I mean, you can't go wrong with Lou
No,
Williams.
you can't. You can't.
He won it last year, I think.
Yeah, but I agree. But
yes, he did. Yeah.
He did. Yes, he did. But I can't. When I look at that, I'm like, I think the impact is there. His numbers are there. Okay, I mean, when you look at
numbers are always going to be there.
When you look at Lou Williams' numbers, but then I don't know. He's not. I mean, he's got the 20 points and 5 assists.
Is he their best player right now? I think he might be.
No.
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 Who do you think is?
No, I mean, my favorite player on that team is Montrezl.
Okay.
I mean, he's been absolutely remarkable.
Guy's an animal.
I mean, he's unreal.
I'd kill for that guy.
And he's a guy that you want on your team.
Yeah.
And look, he's been, to me, he's really taken that step. To me, he's the player that really ignites the engine for the Clippers. I really believe that. I would take Harrell, and I don't know if that's why Devin did that. But obviously he's not on the pod today.
Yeah.
For some conflicts. But other than that, I think he's been. I think Lou Williams is always in that conversation.
It's always a safe bet.
Yeah.
Coach of the year. I got Mike Budenholzer, but I wanted to throw in Mike Malone.
That's who I got, man.
I wanted to throw in Mike Malone. You got Mike Malone?
I do.
I mean, I can't go wrong. You can't go wrong with Mike Malone.
No.
Either of the Mikes, you can't go wrong.
No. I mean, I called it. Once again, we're going to refer it. I called it again in our NBA predictions.
Preseason picks.
In our preseason picks.
Yep.
I said the surprising team was Denver Nuggets. And I got it right, baby. I mean, look. That Mike Malone has just been nothing but short of remarkable. He's done exactly what I was begging him to do.
Yeah.
Take leadership of the locker room and address what the heck has been going on there, man. And you look, he's been. I mean, I'm bragging, on Malone and the marvelous job he's done with their depth and the coaching job he's done with injuries to Harris, injuries to Barton, and a little bit of Murray as well.
Devin has Mike Budenholzer as well. I mean, like I said, you can't go wrong with either one.
No, because Budenholzer's got the best record in the league.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's, and this team has been playing so well.
And I think everybody thought the Bucks were going to be better with him.
Not this good.
Yeah, I don't think they thought they were going to be the best record in the league.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not over Golden State. Not at all.
And then our last award, Executive of the Year. I thought this was pretty straightforward. I got Masai Ujiri from the Raptors. Just because I think this guy put his job on the line when he traded DeRozan for Kawhi. And I think it's going to pay off. I think they're going to get to the finals. And he's made some great moves with Marc Gasol and Jeremy Lin. I just think this guy put his job on the line, and I think it's going to pay off big time.
It's fair. It's fair. I mean, nothing but sort of sensational in that trade and development he's done. I put him in there. I considered it. I was down to 2 guys, man. But I'm going to go with Elton Brand. I mean, look. I mean, he's just going. I mean, he's swinging for the fences at this point.
Really is.
I mean, and to me, he nailed Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
For Rob Covington and Dario Saric. Thibodeau.
Now, I will say.
Tom Thibodeau. Rob Covington, Dario Saric.
Yep.
None of these guys are all-stars. None that will ever be. And, I mean, look, he struck on the deal with Harris. He sees an opportunity in Philly.
Yeah.
He has the opportunity to bring all those guys back.
I like that deal better than the Jimmy deal because I just think he gave up a little too much for Jimmy. A little too much because Jimmy's not staying.
What, sir?
He's not resigning.
Nah.
He's not resigning.
I think he is.
Nah.
I think he is. I see it. I see it. I see him resigning.
I think he's gone. I
mean, hey, I don't know where. I mean,
I don't know where he's gonna go. I just think he's gone.
I just don't. Okay. I think he could pair with a star in free agency, but I like him in Philly. I think he's sticking there. I think he likes the culture that they've provided him this year and the loyalty they showed in that trade, and I think it's going to pay off.
And Devin had Sam Presti because
you can never go wrong.
He says he kept Paul George and he added great pieces, which I'm guessing means Schroeder. Who else do they add?
I mean, look,
Markieff Morris.
You got Markieff Morris, but I mean he's been dealing with the neck injury, but he re-signed Jeremy Grant. Okay, I mean he was able to knock in the deal for Schroeder for Jack Nothing, and Nolan's Noel's been great.
Yep.
And Terrence Ferguson's developed. No, I mean Presti can win that year. He's a year in, year out guy. Always, never hurts to put Presti in there as predictions. Even if he doesn't win it, just never hurts. He's top of his class.
Well, I think that's all the show we got, Caleb. You want to plug? Your column for the Citizen?
Look, we just got something cooking over here, man. And I would, our Campus Citizen website, just something to keep an eye on for you all. Has we're getting some love, man. We're starting to make a jump, and look, we've got 2 columns out in sports sections right now, followed by Chris Norton's NFL draft combine to keep an eye on as that is starting to approach. But no, I mean, Zach Griffin's Pondering the Pacers pod just put up one today, assessing some playoff matchups. Something to keep an eye on there. And then Hoosier State Hoops, the Indiana and Purdue Week in Review that started up last week, and to check that out and keep your eye on that. And the new one should be up and rolling after their games respectively this week. And something to keep an eye on for y'all is the idea of a March Madness pod coming up in a couple weeks, where our intent will be to go live on our pod immediately after Selection Sunday and break down some games, boys and girls. We will have
hopefully we can do that.
A nice team of people. So keep an eye on that. And the Campus Citizen is working, my friends, and Zach Griffin's been on top of it. I'm giving him a shout out right now after I bashed him all day.
Thank you, sir.
And, nothing but love. Nothing but love.
I had a good one next week. Chris Norton coming on the pod.
Chris Norton, my guy.
Chris
Look,
Norton, who's currently right now at the NFL Combine.
he will give you some information that none of us can give you because we're not smart enough. So keep your eye on Chris Norton for that pod with Zach Griffin.
Chris Norton covering the Combine for IAPY.
Let's do it.
Quite
man.
impressive.
My guy, Chris Norton. I've been high on him. I wish I could be on the pod. I mean, he has just been. Chris Norton's my dude, man. But I'm excited to see where Zach takes this. I mean, it's going to be a good conversation of what's been going on in the NFL draft.
It's coming on. I'm sure we'll talk Kyler.
Yeah, man.
Talk Haskins.
Oh yeah.
Talk all
Ready to
these
hear
guys.
it. Ready to hear it,
Yeah.
man.
So
yeah,
it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and thanks, Caleb.
Yeah, absolutely.